And we've got a roaring superstar with us, actually a hometown boy that went off done good, if you will.
Corey Brewer, our friend, the pilot of the Blackhawk that you flew in today, or yesterday rather. So welcome, Corey.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. Corey, where are you based?
So we are based out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky, just northwest of Nashville, about 45 minutes to an hour outside of Nashville.
Yeah. How did you end up in the Army flying Blackhawk helicopters? I mean, that's a big deal.
I don't know. Most people, it's how'd you end up in the Army and what mistakes were made. I kind of found the cheat code, if you will. So I discovered this thing called the street to seat route, or the high school to flight school route. You don't need a college degree. You don't have to be enlisted or do this or do that beforehand. No prior service needed. And it's a fast track to get to flight school. It's a guaranteed contract right there at MEPS. You sign it, and you go basic training, warrant officer candidate school, warrant officer basic course, and then you hit SEER school and have all the fun there. Right? That's a great course. The most fun I had in the Army until Dunker school. And then right after SEER, you go straight into your initial rotary wing in the UH-72 Lakota. You do that for about 6 months, and then you jet off to your go-to-war aircraft, as they call it. And you have one of those options, and you just fall in love with it no matter what you get.
Yeah, well, that's the way Hunter looked at it too with his career. And but anyway, that's fantastic stuff. Now the Blackhawk weren't the Blackhawks involved, if I remember correctly, in the rescue in Iran a couple of weeks ago?
So it was a variant. It was a 60 variant. It was I want to say it's the HH-60, probably a whiskey, the newest model that the Air Force has for their CSAR mission, their combat search and rescue. So the AFSOC, Air Force Special Operations Command, they run those, and those are those guys who get those down fighter pilots. And man, it's doing the same mission since the Jolly Greens in Vietnam. So that's why the new models of those 60s are called Jolly Green 2s.
Okay.
Just holding that heritage up and going in the thick of the night or the thick of the day and just laying it all on the line for the boys and getting them out.
You said you went through SEER school.
Correct.
Yeah, that was fun, wasn't it?
It was a blast, honestly.
Oh, you liked it?
It was great. It was awesome. I wish somebody would have told me how much walking I would have done.
Yeah.
But it was, I think personally, it was one of the top tier schools that the military has to offer. And I will carry those skills with me for the rest of my life.
So Corey doesn't realize it, but earlier I got to have a conversation with his friend Iggy, who was talking about how proud he was as you came off that Blackhawk and the connection that he had with you, being sort of a mentor as you were going through school here. Tell us about your starts here at Sun and Fun and what what this all means to you.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I grew up about 10 minutes down the road. Been coming to Sun and Fun since I was 4 months old. The only time I ever missed it was when I shipped out for the Army and we got busy doing training missions, and it's been this is the 5th year since then, and so I got this close to missing it again, but they said, hey man, last minute, does anybody want to take this mission set and take a Blackhawk down there? And I was like, yeah, I'll take a free vacation home and have some fun. So yeah, it's come full circle. I was that 4 and 5 year old kid, talking and walking around the Blackhawk, talking with the pilots, and they were superheroes to me. And I looked at my parents, and my dad's standing right back here actually. And I looked at him and I said, Mom, Dad, I'm going to do that when I get older. And they didn't once say, you're not tall enough, you're not smart enough, you're not fast enough, you're not strong enough. They said, go out and get it. And they never once told me any dream that I ever had as a kid. It was the only person stopping you is you, and don't let anybody get in your way. If they put an obstacle there, you leap over, you go around, or you duck dive and get underneath,
And to Dad's credit, both you and your brother turned out to be pilots.
So my brother flies for NOAA Corps, which is awesome. I feel like I tell more people about what he does for a living than I do me. Super proud of him, and I think, I was talking to some of the NOAA Corps pilots earlier this morning, and they said, I'm pretty sure he talks to people more about you than he does himself, which is weird coming from 2 pilots, right?
Yeah.
They want to talk about themselves, they want to talk about their airplanes historically. So it's been awesome, and I had the opportunity to go to the Central Florida Aerospace Academy out here, depending on who it was, at the time, seeing this, either notorious or a great experience to have me around, right? It's one of the two. That guy's a knucklehead, or man, that guy's a mentor. So, yeah.
And then even did the club as well.
Exactly, So I was part of the Lakeland Aero Club as well. I was actually, when I first started flying, we started flying at Plant City.
Okay.
And then we moved over here, and we had that little trailer over there. We had Breezer USA with Mike Zajunas. He was my first ever flight instructor. And I was telling him this morning, he stopped by the aircraft and finally got to see me as well this week. And I was like, there's things that you taught me in fixed wing light sports that I still use to this day. And everybody asked me in a Blackhawk, they're like, man, why do you grease on that roll-on landing with aerodynamic braking where you stand it up on the tail wheel and you do a little wheelie and let it, set down naturally once it loses all that, lift in the rotor system. And it's like, I just don't let her land. And they're like, what does that mean? I said, it's a fixed wing thing. You just don't let her land. She'll land when the ground finds her. Just these aircraft have souls and spirits, man. Let them do their thing. They'll let you know when they're ready to fly and ready to get down.
How tough was it? Fixed wing, that's one thing. There's a little more stability there. Helicopter's a different story. When you first got it, the first time you took control, went up, did your thing, what was that like?
Man, I'll tell you, it was awesome. Actually, the first time I ever left the Earth's surface was in a helicopter. I was probably 6, maybe 7, if that.
Okay.
It was right over here by Chopper Town.
Yeah.
And Dad finagled us a little trickery over there and talked to one of the guys, and he hovered us around, me and my brother, one at a time. And man, it was sold. Like, I knew I loved helicopters, but from that point, I was like, oh yeah, this is cool. And so to fast forward 20-something years later, to just come up to that first hover at Cairns Army Airfield at Fort Rucker, I was like, you probably could have seen the smile from here on the flight line. It was just so humbling.
The cycling,
correct?
Your control, a lot different than.
Yeah, well, yes and no, right? So at a hover, it is a lot different. In forward flight, you get that forward airspeed and everything, and it kind of flies like an airplane in a way. There's a little bit of differences, a little bit of similarities there. Fast, slow, or up or down in a hurry if you need. Up or downs over here now with the collective, and then your tail rotor pedals or anti-torque pedals control your yaw and heading, the same kind of a deal. So a lot less pedal input during turns, unlike an airplane. It kind of just pulls itself through, and the Blackhawk has so many things on it mechanically. It's awesome.
Maybe we can pry Dad to come walk around a little bit and pop on over here. No, I wanted to know, did they get the flying bug from Dad?
I'd say yeah.
Whole family has the bug. Do you fly?
Oh, yeah.
Do you? No. Okay,
yeah.
Everyone, all right.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, family history with it. If we got time, his uncles, so my great uncles, flew F-86 Sabres and everything in the Korean War.
All right.
And then my grandfather, his dad, he did the same kind of thing I did. He joined the Army and went straight to flight school. He flew a tour in Hueys and a tour in Little Birds or Loaches.
Yep.
And apparently the apples don't fall far from the tree or something, because I was like, hey man, that sounds like a pretty good gig.
All got the bug.
Let's talk about that for a second, because we've got about 2 minutes left. What advice? I mean, obviously you're in a critical role for the U.S. military, critical role, but you're a local kid, came up through the ranks, now you're flying Blackhawk helicopters. I mean, what a career that is. I mean, that's something kids just dream about. What advice would you give them? Sage advice about following your path.
Right, yeah. I guess I never thought I'd be in the shoes or the boots, if you will, to be giving advice to anybody younger. But I'd say the biggest obstacle you're going to face in any dream that you have in your life is you, because you're the only person who can stop you. If you can dream it, you can get there. It's just about keeping your head low, keeping your feet and your heels planted, and at times you're going to have to grit your teeth, and you're going to have to fight for it.
Yeah.
And every person, don't forget your manners though, because all those people for all these years, in my case, who told me I wasn't smart enough, I wasn't good enough, I wasn't fast enough, all the people outside of my family who just said it wasn't going to happen, all I can tell them is thank you. So if you're watching, thank you. All it did was light a fire.
Yeah.
And you take that and you turn everybody's negativity, you turn that into motivation and just your aspiration to get there. And fortune favors the bold, and greatness comes from small beginnings, right? Sic parvis magna in Latin, if you will. Greatness from small beginnings. Just a humble kid from down the street in Polk County, Florida, got to live his childhood dream, and it's only because I didn't stop fighting. So grit those teeth and have that dirt in you, and
perseverance.
Stay in the fight.
Use your God-given gifts. Use them to the max, to His glory. We'd all be better off.
100%.
Corey Brewer. Wow. What's your official rank, by the way?
I am a Chief Warrant Officer 2.
Okay, got it. Black Hawk pilot. I think that is so cool.
It's fun.
It's awesome. Anyway, Corey, thanks so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
Really, really appreciate it. Lakeland kid, wow, coming home in a Black Hawk helicopter. Pretty darn cool.